Question for you. Do you know if your business is high risk? Well, you should, because it's really important. If you having difficulties to get approved for any type of business funding, it can be a loan, it could be an unsecured business credit, it can be business lines of credit. But let's say you get approved, but maybe your limit is low. Maybe that loan amount is not what you expected. Maybe the interest rate is too high. Maybe the terms is really bad. Well, the reason could be that you're in a high risk industry. So in this video, we're gonna talk about how to not be in a high risk industry, how to choose the proper business name, and how you can go about to get approved for up to $100,000 or more just by doing those two things. So let's dive right into it. Now, most banks will put you in two categories when you're trying to get approved for any type of business funding or a business loan. You're either gonna go into the high risk category, or you're gonna go into the blacklisted category if they deem your business as being a high risk industry. So let's unpack that. What determines to see if you're a high risk industry? Well, number one, your business name. Let's start there. Now, one of the biggest mistakes that I see when it comes to new LLCs, small business owners, when they file an LLC, the business name is a high risk name. So let me give you an example. Let's say you're going into real estate and you put Joe's real estate investing or Joe's apartments. That's considered high risk. Why? Because real estate is considered a high risk industry. So you can leave out the Joe's, you can say Joe's, but leave out the investment part, leave out the properties part. Look, when you thinking of your name, be vague and general as possible. So for example, if you say Mike's Auto Mechanics, leave out auto mechanics. Why? Because auto mechanic is a high risk industry, is a high risk business name. We have to understand that 99% of these applications, when you're applying, whether you're going on online or you're going inside the financial institution, is underwritten by computers. And the two things that they look at to determine to see if you get an automatic denial is the business name and the NAICS code. When I say NAICS code, that just stands for NAICS code. I just really hate saying that. It's too long for me. But that really stands for North American Industrial Classification System. That's what it stands for, NAICS code. See, I hate saying it. So I just say NAICS code, right? So those are the two main components that they look at to determine to see if your business is a high risk. So just to give you a few high risk business names. Now, I'm not going to go over every single name or even the NAICS codes because I'm going to give you a PDF file below that you can download for free. And they'll tell you blacklisted industries and they'll tell you high risk industries. So you definitely want to download that in the description below to get your free download. Also, if you're not subscribed to my channel, make sure you subscribe. Also, make sure you like. It really helps me out with the algorithm. And also, it really helps the channel out a lot. So thank you in advance. Now, let's get back to the business name. So again, real estate is a high risk industry. If you're going for trucking, that's a high risk industry. So trucking doesn't have to be in your business name. Be vague as possible, such as Joe's Enterprise or Joe's Management Services or Joe's Logistics. So you see how vague that is? Now, these computers don't know exactly what the name means because it's too vague. But if you put something like properties, they know you into real estate, so you're automatically going to get denied, right? So we have to be careful with that. Also, if you in the blacklisted category, you're going to get denied automatically. Let's give you some examples of being in the blacklisted industry, such as adult entertainment. Lenders are not going to touch that with a 10-inch pole. No pun intended, but they're not because it's too risky on their end. You're going to get blacklisted. You can't open a bank account with them. You can't get any type of loan, any services, any products. They won't mess with you at all if you're in the blacklisted industry. Also, another blacklisted industry can be weaponry, such as, ammunition, things of that nature, gambling. Those are all considered blacklisted industries. Again, there's more in the description below in the PDF file that you can take a look at that list. So we don't want to get categorized in a blacklisted industry by being in an industry that we have no business being in, especially when we're trying to get any type of funding, right? Now, when it comes to high risk industry, it's a little bit different, only because high risk industry, meaning you may still get approved. Like, let's say if you into real estate, trucking, beauty salon, like barbershops, etc., you may still get approved, but your terms and your limits and your interest rates might be really bad. Instead of getting a $25,000 line of credit or a business credit card, you may get a $2,000. Instead of getting a 6% interest rates, as of right now, this video interest rates are a little bit high. They may give you a 19% interest rates because of the industry that you're in. So you have to prove to them that you're able to pay this loan back on time and over the period of time, because being in that risky industry, they're going to automatically assume that you're going to default on that loan. So we want to make sure that we don't give them the assumption that, hey, you know what, we're going to default on your loan just by the name or the industry that we're in. So now here's the thing, what you can do. Remember, I gave real estate as an example. That does not mean that you can't go into real estate. It just be careful in choosing a name. Now, once you choose the proper name, we're going to transition to the NAICS code, the NAICS code, because that's going to determine what industry you're actually in. So let's say you go into real estate and now you want to choose a name. Now there's a plethora of NAICS codes that you can choose from, right? There's even codes on top of codes, right? There's different type of codes. So my point is, choose a code that still relates to your business. However, you can still choose a code that's not a high risk. For example, let's say credit repair. Let's take credit repair now. Let's say you do credit repair, but credit repair is a high risk industry. But you may also do consulting. You may also do management. We can say the thing about real estate too. We may also do management and real estate. We may also do consulting and real estate. We may also do marketing and real estate. So we can choose that code, that NAICS code, as opposed to choosing a real estate code that's going to automatically deem our business to be risky. You tracking me? So make sure the name is vague as possible. Management, consulting, enterprise, any vague name out there, right? There's a ton of names you can choose from. Don't overthink the name. But when it comes to the NAICS code, we want to make sure that we choose a code that does not classify us as being a high risk industry. You tracking me? That's really important. Now, here's the thing. You can always change your NAICS code, but you want to make sure you change your NAICS code everywhere, right? So when you fill out that when you get in your bank account, they're going to ask you, what is your code? Now, don't allow them to choose a code for you. You want to choose the code. So automatically tell them the code up front. Or even better, before you even choose your code, call the bank. Ask them, hey, is this a high risk code? If you're unsure, you can always ask them that too as well. But if you choose like safe, like management, marketing, consulting, those are really safe names, enterprising, etc. Those are really safe codes that you can go under. Now, also, these codes are really important with the IRS. Why? Because they're going to compare your expenses with other industry expenses. So if you say you in marketing, they're going to compare your marketing expenses to other businesses that's in that industry when it comes to marketing. So they want to make sure that your expenses match up. This is how you can run a chance of getting audited if you in a certain code and your expenses are not there compared to other businesses. So that's another reason. Also, insurance. Insurance companies look at your NAICS code, look at the industry that you're in to determine what type of insurance they're going to give you. Also, your credit is involved too as well, but your code is one of those things that they look at. Of course, we know lenders and creditors, SBA, all of them determine what type of loan you're going to get, determine what type of interest rates you're going to get. All that is factor in when it comes to your NAICS code. Again, that stands for NAICS code. They're going to determine what type of loan you get. So we want to make sure that we be as vague as possible when it comes to these codes. It's really important. Now, again, you can always change your code. So let's say you first thought maybe you got a high risk code right now. You can go back and you can change it, but you want to make sure you change it With your banker, you want to make sure you go to Dun and Brad, change it there. You want to make sure you change it, whatever you fill out a application, make sure you put your new code in there, because remember, all this information is being disseminated around the internet. So changing your code multiple times can be a red flag too. So we want to make sure that we do it right the first time, so we won't have to go back and constantly change everything. And that's the number one mistake that I see a lot of new LLCs make, and a lot of new business owners make, right? They do it wrong, so now they got to go back. Remember, even not only your business name, your code, but also like a virtual office. You put your home address down, and now you got to go back and change it with the IRS. You got to go file an amendment to change it with your LLC. You got to change it with Dun and Brad. You got to go to Experience Business to change that. So you got to go to all these multiple platforms and spend a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of resources to change the information that you should have done right in the first place. But that's okay. So now you know, right? Now you know better. So I wanted to come on here and tell you all the things that you need to know about your NAICS code. Don't overcomplicate it. A lot of people overcomplicate your business name and your NAICS code. Just choose it. But these are the first two things you want to do when you first start your LLC. I'm giving you a blueprint right now. These are the first two steps. Choose the right business name. Choose the right NAICS code. Then you want to go with your virtual office and go down that line. Now, I got plenty of videos on that. You definitely want to check out my other videos to see what steps you have to take in order to, before you file your LLC. So I'll leave that also in this video above, where you can go and check out that video to determine, hey, before I file an LLC, let me complete these steps in order for me to file my LLC. So that's the video. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. Thank you for your time. See you on this video.